That's my
Right
going
on
live
live.
dance.
Hey, yippee. Welcome to the workshop number 305. This is a comedy safe space. So if you want to say the N word or so, I'm not going to tell your parents. Jeremy, you're up first. Let me know what your topic is and when you're ready to begin, and I will start your time.
I wasn't ready to go first, but
Oh, fuck.
my
Never mind. You
my
can go first.
no, I could go first. I go first.
Yeah.
My topic is flotation devices. So they say that hope floats, and we're gonna see about that now in my set that I did not prepare. Um, Many things can float. I recently learned that you can float a paperclip on top of a glass water, on top of a glass of water. That's a science experiment. Yeah, no, this is gonna be bad. I'm sorry. Floating rings. What does that mean? Yeah, no, I shouldn't have went first. Life jackets are supposed to save our lives, but we only wear them like when we're near the water. I think we should wear life jackets everywhere. Like you don't know anytime people get drowned in a teaspoon of water. Um, my mom, whenever we were little, we went to I think it was what lake is the lake on this side by Port Huron? That's Lake Huron. That's where my grandma went. I'm asking you. You're fucking from Michigan, Balo. You
I
can
don't know anything
answer
about Michigan. What do you mean?
this. You're not from Michigan.
I am from Michigan. I don't know lakes.
What's the lake that's on this part over here? Isn't you
Uh,
live down in Port Huron, right, or near
no,
this
no, I don't
area?
live there. Well, I mean, you got the hand backwards. The thumb is on the right side. Oh,
Okay, but you
That's
live in
Florida.
near Detroit.
oh yeah, I'm from Detroit. I don't
Oh
know anything
shit.
about the lakes. It's home. I know Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. I don't know where they are.
You know the names. Okay, all right, yeah. Black people don't float. So there you go. By law, doesn't go to the lake. No, I think that's Port Huron, Lake Huron. So we went to visit my grandma up in the tip up here, and we went swimming. And for some reason, my mom, she only went in the water knee deep. And I always thought that when I was a kid that she would float away, and she was concerned about floating away. But really, it was because she didn't want to attract any sharks because she was on her period. It's a freshwater lake. There's no sharks in there. Again, I'm sorry. You guys shouldn't have to do this. People float like if they have enough air inside of them. Like Facebook floats because we're all full of hot air, and sometimes we let that air out in the form of stupid words, or sometimes we fart. And farts can be used to propel flotation devices across the water. Um, Rocks float. One time I went on a fishing trip, and there was these rocks that were just floating in the water, and it was an 8-hour fishing trip, and I just caught rocks. So like I came home with like a huge bag full of these floating rocks. It's going to be my legacy. Everybody, blow up dolls float, but you can't ride a blow up doll like to safety. You can only fuck it. And then Red Sea, people float in the Red Sea, which is some place that I've never been to. My friend told me about unicorn floaters, which are the pieces of poop that like still float on top of the water after you flushed it. And then I learned recently that I think it was Lake Superior. It says Lake Superior is so cold that you can put a dead body in there, and once the dead body's lungs fill up with water, it'll sink to the bottom and it'll never float again, because the body creates this algae or this bacteria that creates gas inside the body that causes the body to float. But since it's so cold in the water, then the bacteria doesn't form and the body never floats. All right, that's all I got.
Yay!
Well, that was 4 minutes of
Sweet,
crap.
yeah. A quick geography lesson. I don't know if you can see this.
Superior's up north, Michigan's on the left. That's Lake Huron, Erie, and then Ontario.
Yeah.
Ontario's by New York.
Yep. Cool. Any feedback?
I just have for your sex dolls. So you can't ride them to safety, but you can sure fuck them to death.
Or you can be fucked. It depends on what kind of dolls you're into.
Dolls, floats. Does root beer float on water like oil?
Root beer. I don't know that anybody's ever tried to mix root beer and water. You might be onto something there, buddy.
Does root beer float?
Just becomes liquid.
Oh man.
Its base is water, so it just becomes water.
I'm
writing that down though. Root beer float.
Oh, that thing about catching the rocks.
Yeah, that was true.
Animal Crossing reference to it because that's real, like topical right now.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, because when you go fishing, sometimes you catch cans, booze, and rocks. And you'll catch more rocks than anything. So, of all the trash you catch. So, like, you could do that. You could even, you say something like, I'm the king of, it's not virtual Animal Crossing. What is it when it's real life? Like,
I think it's called real life.
No, I mean, like fuck virtual Animal Crossing. I'm living it real life. So like, I just need a boot and a can. I can make a planter. Because in the game, if you get a boot and a can, you can make a planter. So
that game's been around a long time because I remember my ex-girlfriend had that game on her Nintendo Wii, and we used to play that. No, not on the Wii. It was like the handheld one.
DS.
Yeah.
So we played that that was a long time ago. I dated her when I was like 27, so that was at least 10 years ago.
My kids played it on their old Nintendo consoles.
Say that again. They have a whole console.
They played it on the early generation console ones where you.
Okay, so it's been around a long time, even longer than that. Okay.
Yeah. But it's come back for the Switch. And there's even there's open mics in Animal Crossing.
Man, I need to get more technology.
But yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Like it's topical, and the fact that you catch those floating rocks, just like it couldn't be a better. What a cool true fact that you could tie to such a topical.
They were. I think the way that they were lava rocks, and they just had air that got trapped inside of them. But it was crazy because we were fishing. We were there for the whole day for fishing with my grandma's sister and her husband, and I just spent the whole day collecting rocks. I was like, "Fuck this! This is cool." I got like big bags of rocks that I came home with.
Shoot.
The thing you were saying about Lake Superior, like where bodies don't float in it, you think you could start a business like that? Like you just start hauling bodies to Lake Superior?
Like you could, but I don't think you'd want to announce it on the internet.
No, I don't mean that. I mean it's like an underground, like the wolf from Pulp Fiction.
Well, there's a guy who lives. There's a guy who lives right near my house, and he's got a bunch of big 55-gallon drums, and they say like oil on the side of them, but maybe he's just storing dead bodies, inside of metal drums.
I think you'd smell it.
Maybe he's storing a few.
Yeah.
Amongst a whole lot of trash that nobody would really. Oh, these are this. So obviously they're all this.
Yeah.
When some of them are clearly that.
I don't know. Yeah, there's no like. I mean, there's a gas station near my house, but they're drums of oil. I expect because it says Saigon Oil on the side of it. So like we live in a residential area, so it's not like a processing plant where they're processing the oil into gas. I don't know what the hell they're doing. It's just like storage.
Is that healthy for a residential area?
Probably not, but it doesn't matter. In Vietnam, they don't have rules. I mean, they do, but they're just suggestions.
Oh, you're in Vietnam. Okay. I thought you were like in somewhere like Kansas. I was like, what? Drop some oil in the backyard?
Yeah, there's no zoning. Like, so there's like some businesses right here in my neighborhood, and during the daytime, they're just loud as hell. And then, the people live inside that place afterwards at night. So it's like a work from home workstation, but they don't use the internet. They make noise.
No, but I was picturing like you having like a school bus. You know how school buses go to pick up all the kids, like, but it's all like, you know, murdered spouses and whatever. Like, you're waiting in front, you're like honking the horn. They're like, there, come on, and they're like, you know, they come out, they got a little backpack on the corpse, and they throw them on the bus. And then you get to Lake Superior and you dump them all in, and then they do float. And you're like, what? Oh, fuck.
It's like you made this whole business and you filled up a whole bus full of dead bodies, and you didn't do your research. You just read this on the internet. You get there and you're like, oh shit. Yeah. And you got like, you made some kind of decals to like slap on the body, like body hidden by the services of Jeremy Wagner, so that if anyone ever does find it at the bottom of the ocean, they're like, well, if we need to dispose of a body, we can call this number. But then they're floating, so then you're going to jail. It's a good point. Very good point.
Yeah. Any more feedback?
And something to do with like, we had these, you know, the little arm floaties that you put on your arm as a little kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had these things that were called sock'em boppers, and they were like air fists, like you blow it up and you put it on your hand. Like me and my brother both had a set, and so we fought each other in the backyard for like 10 minutes before one of them broke. And then we had 3 left, and eventually another one popped, so we had 2 left. So we couldn't even, like, we were fighting with one hand at that point, but kids were getting hit in the face with the opposite hand without the glove, so we had to stop fighting with those. And then I come home, and basically I'm gonna tell you this story like it happened to my brother, but it really happened to me. I found my brother having a threesome with the 2 sock'em boppers that were left. Yeah, so that's my story. He goes to church now, so he doesn't get to confess his sins like this to strangers on the internet. So I'll do it for him.
Sock'em boppers. Do you think like, I'm picturing like somebody who's like stranded on a desert island and all they have are like sock'em boppers, so they have to float to civilization using them. Like they got them on their hands and they just.
Well, it depends on how many you have, because I mean, yeah, if you get put 2 on your feet, that might be possible. No, probably not. But yeah, that'd be funny. Like some dude just laid out on the ocean, floating back to like civilization with sock'em boppers.
Yeah, but if you drown, that'd be super fucked up. You know, there'd be somebody on the beach, you'd be like, what's that? It's just see 2 sock'em boppers floating, and then they wash it up and there's a body underneath them.
But what if you did make it, and then like you're all over the news, and you're like, yeah, sock'em boppers saved my life, and then the sock'em boppers company comes forward and they're like, well, Jeremy, since we did save your life, we're going to give you a year's supply or a lifetime supply of sock'em boppers. What the fuck am I going to do with these? Yeah, I don't know.
Stay from Alcatraz.
You just start making like rafts. You put some sticks in them and, you know, put some logs on there and make a raft, and then you can start selling them.
Make it down the mighty Mississippi.
I don't know about that. Check with Huck or Tom. No, I don't know. All right, we're off topic now. We wasted enough time.
Well, I mean, most of that was about flotation.
Yeah. I
Other
don't
than
think there was only a few devices though. Bodies are not flotation devices. Like you don't see people like floating to safety with their best friend's body.
I mean,
Like
Tales of the Black Freighter.
I never read that book
And that's,
or
that was
seen
from
that.
Watchmen.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Not the graphic novel or comic. Anyway, Bobby, you're gonna be up next. So let me know when you're ready to begin and what your topic is, and I will start your time.
All right, I'm ready to begin, and my topic was coercion. Because y'all talked my ass into this week. I decided to take the word seriously.
That's difficult.
Some more talking into. Well, no, not tiny ones. You can talk me into just about anything. So I'm now been persuaded to talk on this subject, and I got to thinking about, persuasion. It's just the poor man's con game. We really have no way to buy and sell others, so we just persuade each other to do shit we don't want to do. Like my husband. He's slipping in his coercion game. Like last week he came home with expensive and exotic rubbing oils for his new boots. And he's like out there with others. I know there are others. I found the receipts. I mean, this one bitch last month, he paid over $5,000 to get her a lift job and a rim job. Damn, that truck's having a good year. Yeah. I wish he loved me half as much as that truck, But me, I get the shit coercion tactics, like walks in heavily used underwear, You want to get with this miserable old man. That's what I get, Yeah. Ooh, baby, you turn this down, you're a bad banker because you're going to miss out on an investment of millions. Yeah, I've had his investment of millions. That's how I got those kids. And kids is just like, it's constant coercion. I mean, from day one to death, it's just playing with your fucking minds. That's what we're doing because y'all are driving us out of ours. You've just always got to outwit a kid, man. It is not as easy as you would think it would be to do because the kid is always trying to figure out how to persuade you to not let him eat his broccoli or, not flush the truck down the toilet or not take a pound of sugar to bed with him. What the hell was that about? Just a pound of sugar you just eating out of the... Ooh, you kids, you nasty, If you want to, get a kid to do anything, tell them that there's no way they can do it and you have no belief in them. And it's just, you'll fail. You can't do that. There's just no way you'll ever get that done because you're a loser. You can't get it. It's never going to happen for you. And they suddenly go into that, fuck you, Love. I can achieve any dream. This laundry will get done. I didn't have to touch the laundry. I didn't have to do it. You just tell him he can't, and then he needs to prove you wrong. So that's the thing. You just tell a teenager anything, they got to prove your ass wrong. You can get the house clean top to bottom with enough of that negative persuasion is what I call it. Yeah. But, no parent wants their kid having sex, until they're in their 60s. But, I was just like, I was an OBGYN nurse, okay? And I saw kids coming in with perfectly normal stuff and they thought they were dying. I saw kids who thought they were coming in with nothing. And I mean, I'm sorry. I saw kids coming in thinking they were dying, had perfectly normal stuff going on. And I saw kids had terrible stuff going on. Some were dying and they didn't know it. And I always felt I'd be honest. How do I coerce my children not to have sex while being honest? I went the nurse route. I said, you know what? I'm not going to talk to you like a mom. I'm going to talk to you like a nurse, like you walked into the emergency room, the same way I was trained to talk to any patient. I said, so here we go. Sex feels awesome. Oh my God, it's amazing. Sex. No, make enough orgasm faces in front of your kids. They won't want to have sex for a while. For about 8 seconds. Now, let's walk over the computer and we will see what that 8 seconds can buy you, shall we? Now, you hook the computer to the big screen TV so that it's just out there, And then you start showing them every kind of VD known to man. Nice big up close shots, It's like, do you see that, honey? That's not supposed to do that. That'll kill you, honey. I saw pictures of end-stage AIDS, and it's like, now is that two teenagers skipping in the park flying a kite? No. But most importantly, sweetheart, if you want to have sex, use condoms on top of condoms. And if she tells you, oh no, honey, that's okay, I got it covered, I'm on birth control. Use 3 condoms. She's trying to persuade you to be a daddy. And you never trust that. And if she says is I'm pregnant, you say, yeah, paternity test. Because if you pay in Alabama, if you pay for 1 diaper, you are then financially obligated to that child till their 18th birthday. So get the test. At least, I don't know how it works in your state, but it sucks in Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah. But I tell him, I said, look, if you want to have sex with her, that's the best result is she would come out pregnant. Of all the bad results, that's the best one. But here's what you got to do, baby. Before you have sex, get into a knockdown, drag out, maybe we even break up fight with her. Because that's the bitch you're going to have to deal with every time you have to meet up for a kid's social function when this marriage don't work out. So, if you can put up with that bitch and you wear 3 condoms and you are okay with all these pictures, then I guess you've talked me into being okay with you having sex. And, I am so glad that I talked these men into, sitting here and looking at a hoo-hoo. I think that was just best coercion of all, embarrassing a man with a girl dick joke. So, thank y'all very much for having me. God bless and angels on y'all. Thank you, Bilal.
Oh, man. Oops.
Oh, my electricity just went out, guys. I'm sorry.
Lord. Yeah, you have any feedback?
Just persuading the kids thing. My mom just told me, your kids are gonna be 10 times worse than you are. And I sat there and I thought about it. I was like, there's a lot of things that I've done that she doesn't know about. So like, I'm gonna be fucked. And then, yeah, some girl did recently tell me that she's pregnant. I don't know if it's mine or not, but I'm glad I don't live in Florida or Alabama. I want to help her. Like, I want to be nice, but then again, I don't want to pay for somebody else's child.
Nice. It could financially obligate you you just don't put your name on the birth certificate until there's a swab back. When the baby's born, you get a swab.
Yeah, no, I'm waiting.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that to be hateful. It's just, okay, what if you get roped into this other dope's kid, right? Then you have kids. Now your kids get less because you've been rope-a-doped into this other kid's financial obligations. So it's about protecting your kids in the future that you don't have yet. It's, how many other people has she called and said that? So I'm saying this as a woman. Don't trust women. My husband and I first we went to the park, we sat, we swang, and I told him every little trick women play because it's bitchitude. It is stupid. It doesn't accomplish anything. I'm more built like a dude, and I don't have a lot of friends that are girls. They don't get me, but I don't get them either. So it's fine. But you gotta be real careful of that girl that is like, oh no, I got it covered. I'm on birth control, And I've had boys say, hey, you're on birth control. I was like, yeah, and that doesn't protect me from herpes or all that other stuff. Go get your condom. I'm still gonna put an amount of responsibility because if you're using double the birth control, that's even better results that you're not gonna wind up with something you're not ready to be dealing with.
Yeah. No, my cousin, she's never had a job before. She lives at home with her mom. She has a baby. She's like 24 and she's a Trump supporter. And I'm like, you're not anywhere on any part of the portion that Republicans help, like you're a single mom. You don't have money, like there's no way. Yeah. She's on the side that this is the way I think of it. Her new stepdad, because she lives with her mom, her new stepdad's an oil worker. So of course, as long as his boss, big business oil company, has a job, then her stepdad has a job, and then she has a free place to live. Is the way that I think she looks at it. And the same with my cousin, because he's white trash as well. Got like 6 kids. His wife's got like some kind of disease where maybe she had a stroke or something like that, but she has to go to the hospital. She's got problems with herself. So he's the only person who works. And I'm like, the only reason you're a Republican is because your boss has a company. Like you're in the wrong boat, buddy.
I believe there's a lot of that. Yeah. Like I think it's happening on both sides too, where like people are afraid to be Democratic or Republican because it could affect my job. And I've recently seen a friend who was fired, and it really was in the end. It was truly over their differing points of view on stuff, and he just didn't want to work with him. But he was the boss, and it was like, honey, you can't pop back at him like that. You just have to swallow it and take it, or say what they want to hear. Doesn't mean you have to mean it.
Yeah.
It's just keeping your job. And I'm from the generation I don't get involved in the politics. If there's a fight politics, I can find a bug on the other wall somewhere to go stare at. I just I'm not getting in that drama.
Every once in a while I fall into it, but yeah, I try to do my best to avoid it. I don't really care.
Well, I mean, to me,
you're not going to change anybody else's mind. So.
And Republican voters out there, and and I really believe that. I just don't believe we have too many congressmen or senators who are truly Democratic or Republican. They really answer to the corporation that got them.
Cash money. Yeah.
So, yeah. And so, I mean, like, even they may tell you they're fighting for you, but then when you get in there and look at their bills, you realize, no, they're fighting for the corporations on this side of the ticket that got them elected because of that whole First Amendment making them a citizen. So, because of that, I don't see a point in getting wrapped up in politics because it seems like it's all just a big script of hate him more than you hate me.
But isn't it funny that you can see that and then other people can't like see what's really happening, like distractions and cover-ups and, I'm a straight party voter. Like, do you pay attention to what your party's doing, or do you just vote Republican or Democrat because that's what you were raised upon? Like, is the Jesus of Latter-day Saints the Jesus that you believe in, and that's the one that you're going to go to heaven in, or is it the Baptist down the street? You were raised to be this, so of course you're going to the Baptist church, even though God never really came and talked to you personally and said, hey, baptism is the right religion or whatever. So how do you know? Like, with religion, you can grow up and you can change your ideas. Same with politics, but nobody ever does. It's like my mom was poor, so I'm a Democrat because I believe in taking care of people that need help at times. But then I'm also like, people will take handouts, so fuck those people. I'm not going to help everybody. So, but there's many people from where I'm from in Louisiana that just, that's what my parents were. So that's what I am. And I'm like, so I know that you've probably looked at your parents at different times of your life and been like, that person's fucking stupid. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to trust them on something that's going to get me to eternal life in heaven. Like, why would you not do your own research into that after you realize what's going on? But same with politics. Nobody does that. It's like, this is my team and I'm going to die with this team.
You think anyone's ever cut themselves on a birthday hat?
On a what?
On a birthday hat. The pointy. You think they
stuck an eye, like poke somebody's eye out with a birthday hat?
Yeah, it could be dangerous. It could be a lawsuit there.
It's like it's too much mafia influence, too much coercion.
When you're trying to convince your kids, like you were listening up, like hooking the laptop up to the TV and showing them. So what if you came in with like a baby and it was just screaming? Like, where did you get that baby?
Showing childbirth. It wouldn't bother my kids because they're the boys. They'd be like, yeah, that's her problem.
Yeah.
But like bring in like a baby and it's like, oh yeah, we just found this baby on the street and you guys are gonna have to take care of it for a few days. Like I remember I didn't have to do it, but there was like home ec class whenever I was in school, and there was like a week where the girls would walk around with a baby and had to take it home, and it was like it would cry and they had to feed it and all kinds of shit. Yeah, and if you drop the baby, then it broke, and then you got a bad grade because you killed your robotic baby.
Then I grew up and became a comedian.
Who, the baby or
I was thinking like, you just come in with like a random baby and screaming and crying, and they're like, oh my gosh, turn that thing off. And they're like, wait a minute, where did you get that baby from? And you're like, and then the TV switches from like VD to like the news, and it's like this family on TV, and they're crying and like, wait a minute, if you've seen our baby, please. They're like, you see what can happen if you have a baby.
You could be, like you kidnapped a baby just so you can prove a point that babies could get kidnapped.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's some coercion right there. You're gonna take care of this baby until the police find out where the baby actually is and come and get it, and then you're gonna explain that we did this as a science experiment. You like end up paying the family a couple $100 or whatever, and they're like, all right, well, we just had a free babysitter and we got paid for letting somebody babysit our child. So yeah, that was a good weekend. Thank you guys.
When my kid was like 2, he kept answering the door. He just unlocked it to anybody and wide open. And we were constantly, you can't do that. It's dangerous. And he would open. He just would not put him in timeout. That doorbell rang. He'd run out of timeout to go and answer that doorbell. So I finally got fed up one day, and I went and got a T-shirt. And I rang the doorbell. I went from out the back door, and I went around. I rang the doorbell, and he swung the door open. And I put the T-shirt over his head and ran him to the van, hooked him in the van with the T-shirt on his head, took off and ran down to like a block and a half down the Piggly Wiggly. He's got the T-shirt on his head. He's screaming. He doesn't know who's caught him. He doesn't know what. I stop at the Piggly Wiggly. I snatch the T-shirt. I say, when you answer the door to strangers, they kidnap you. And I answer the door again.
I love that. That's awesome. You probably go to jail for doing that nowadays.
I didn't harm him. I didn't him. I gave him a very real scenario in a very fake environment, and he never answered the door because that's what could have happened to him, and we would have never got him back. So I'd
Yeah.
rather him have that understand, because I'm telling you, this was something went on for like 6 months before we ever, yeah. So it was just like, it was a chronic problem, and I was terrified of losing my child. And he was a runner across the street, or he was, just one of the shooting stars. He was so bad. I actually did have to like leash him as a kid, but they made kid leashes like a little harness.
We had
like
those.
top and a little hook on the back. And I was nicer. Okay, the kid leashes only came with a 2-foot lead. I went and got one of those expandable 15-footer dog leashes. I gave my child more freedom than most. But it was also
Just got him tied up to the runner in the backyard.
But now if he sassed off and he tried to run from me, I always had that little snatch him up option, and foghorn leghorn. But I knew my child was a danger to himself and others, and I took responsibility. Sometimes there are some children you just gotta leash them, and then there are some children that you could take them to an insurance seminar and you never know they were there. But yeah, he was a stubborn kid. I remember one day his dad got mad
Some
at him.
children you have to kidnap. And
Yeah, some children you just have to kidnap.
Yeah. I was trying to think of like probably would have had the same effect if you were dressed up like a Jehovah's Witness.
No.
you definitely don't answer the door for these people, damn it.
That's what I should have done, was dressed up in a suit and tie and just barged my way in and put him in a chair and talked to him incessantly for 3 hours about something he didn't want to hear anything about. That would have probably done more damage than the kidnapping. And if you want to punish your teenagers, you just take their chargers and their HDMI cords. That's all you have to do. Let them keep the phone. The panic as the battery runs down is just such a joy to watch. It's like, and then you get to throw things in like 8%, huh? Yeah. Get to spoil yourself a little, didn't you?
My phone's never been this low before. What am I going to do? Yeah, that's funny. No, I think the world's going to come to an end if the electricity went out. Like, people are going to lose their shit.
They might actually have to talk to it. Look how many marriages didn't survive COVID. And
I was thinking with, technology is going to make us at some point not be able to speak. Like, we're going to have to just text message to communicate with each other. You're sitting at the same table. Did you get my message?
My kids already do that.
Yeah.
Don't even try to call them. If they're calling me, I know it's some kind of an emergency and I'm scared. If I see the phone ringing and it's there, I am scared. They just text.
I don't call people. No, I don't want to talk to you.
Call them. They won't answer. If you text them, they answer right back. It's crazy. But yeah, it's so never uses it. It scares me when I see them calling. Who died?
It's funny that it has the reverse effect. Like you're like, oh shit, my kid's calling. It must be an emergency. But then you call them like 6 times, and they're like, "What, Mom? Shit."
Yeah, shit. Mom's calling. She wants to know if I ate all the spaghetti. She cooks hard for me.
No,
good job. I didn't really have much feedback, but you had some good jokes.
Yeah, that was really good. Like for one of these. Okay, I guess it's my turn to talk about Westerns. Ooh. All right, here we go. I was born in 1996. It was, I think Toy Story came out in like 95. But it was one of the first movies I saw growing up. And I remember when Toy Story 2 came out and stuff. It was probably my favorite movie ever. I always wanted to be a cowboy when I grew up. And it took me a really long time before I realized that wasn't a very feasible option. Like there was a window in there where I was like, just gonna be a cowboy, you know. Like I had my little BB gun. I was practicing, you know, spinning it, gunslinging. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have the fastest guns in the West. I'm getting a head start on all these people. Yeah, like you know, you'd see people like, you know, wearing all black. Like you'd be like, I gotta watch them. You know, they might pull a gun on me, but it turned out they were just like emo kids or something. Yeah, because there was a window like early in my life where I wanted to be a cowboy. Then a window like I was a teenager, I was like, okay, I can't be a cowboy when I grow up. But now that I'm in my 20s, I kind of want to be a cowboy again. Like I think I could bring it back. I think now is the perfect time to bring back being a cowboy. You know, and just going from bar to bar. Do they even do their job? Like they say the job of a cowboy is to like, you know, drive cattle and stuff, but I never saw them do that in any cowboy movie I've ever seen. Like I've never once seen them do their actual job. Like it's all just, you know, protecting the town from oppressors.
Robbing the train.
Robbing trains. Yeah, it'd probably be super easy to rob trains now. Like nobody ever even tries.
Bringing it back.
Nobody would notice. Like they'd be like, "What do we do?" You know, everybody's got like bandanas, and 6-shooters. Like, what? They couldn't do it. They probably don't have protocols for that anymore. Train bandits.
The new bandana.
Oh yeah. Masks are the new bandana. That's a great observation. Westerns. Ugh. Oh yeah, Westerns. I hate when you have the GPS on and it's just like turn head west. Like I know where west is. Like, the sun is
Yes.
Yes.
Like I'm already moving, and it's like, yeah, head west. I'm like, what? Huh? Like, just pull out my sextant and look up, and I'm like, oh, this pollution is blocking all the stars. I can't make it out. How am I gonna navigate? I don't know why they do that. It's so weird. It's like right and left, but turn west. That's all I have for right now. You guys have any feedback? It's like random crap.
Like you need like a GPS to translate your GPS. Like your one GPS says go west for 8 miles, and then your second GPS is like, yeah, you need to go back to that gas station that you just passed, and you need to make a right turn at that gas station because you didn't go west, you went straight. I don't know.
I was actually had a parallel thought on that. I said it should be a little more specific, like go towards that Wendy's over there, then to the left.
Okay.
But then now it's like a Burger King, so like the new kids are getting confused because like Wendy's, what the fuck is Wendy's? Or like he's like, no, go this way because my ex-girlfriend's named Wendy and she used to live over here. So go towards her house.
Go towards that parking lot where that bitch broke up with you in front of all your friends.
That would be funny if it just like somehow was able to collect things that happened in your life. And you remember that time you cried on top of that rock? Head towards there.
Or like they started doing stuff that hadn't happened yet. Like go to this spot that you're going to die in 8 days. Like what?
You're gonna die at this spot in 2 days. Head there. And you're like, I don't want to die. Why would I head towards the place I'm gonna die? If I'm not there, I'm not gonna die. And in 2 days, you somehow make it there. Like the GPS.
That'd be a great movie.
Persuades you to go in that direction, and you don't know it. So like every time you listen to the GPS, it's giving you these weird directions, like go west. And you're like, what the fuck? Which way is west? No, that's towards my death. I can't go west, you piece of shit. And then he's like, go east and make 3 left turns, and here you are now going west again. So yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
Or
I thought
2
when you
left
said weird
turns.
directions, when you said weird directions, I thought you said weird erections.
It could go either way. It could go either way. Like, yeah, that could have been either way.
Any more
I had
feedback
a,
you guys?
couple of more things. You were talking about that practicing my gun twirling to getting ahead of all the other, and then I just say practicing my gun twirling, getting ahead of all the other cowboys in the hood. You know, because the cowboys in the hood, and then I just think that'd make a funny like
boys in the hood, cowboys in the hood.
Look, cowboys in the hood. And you're talking about robbing trains. I was just like robbing Amtrak's because they're about all that's left as far as passenger trains. But it's like, but then going to that thought about nobody robs trains anymore. Like, what do we rob now? Like the Greyhound Super Bus.
But imagine like spending all of the time like Ocean's 11 in this train heist, and then you get on the train and there's no passengers because nobody takes the train, and they spent all this money to get onto the train and rob all the people, and then there's nobody on it. Like,
they're actually, that's what you want to be robbing. Do you know what they're mostly hauling? At least like through the Southeast. Do you know what they're mostly hauling? Mercedes and Corvettes. Like you see 20 box cars go by. They're all full of Mercedes and Corvettes. And they're just shipping them all over the United States.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Like
so that would be like a Ocean's 11-y kind of, with a Gone in 60 Seconds kind of feel. Oceans in 60 seconds. 60 seconds of oceans. 60 oceans.
Oceans of 60.
Ocean 60. We have 60 cars to steal off this train.
And like half the movie is just the guy like calling up his old friends to get like 60 people that are down with the heist. He even's got to like make some new friends. So it's at one point it shows him going online and joining like some friends group program like Tinder, and he's swiping left and swiping right on these people to get them to join his train heist. Hey man, I know you don't know this and this is kind of weird, but this is the internet, and I really want to be your friend because do you know how to drive a stick shift? Okay, because that's very important.
What if you just steal the entire train? It's like you take it off the tracks.
Like you got like 60 helicopters that come in and like swoop down and drop some cables down and just pick it up, and then like the train is all together flying through the air.
That would be cool. Mm-hmm. These are fun action movies.
You spend more money on like preparing the heist than you actually get from the heist, and you like yes. You go through all the train cars when you get to the end, and like you're going through and you're like, we didn't fucking get nothing. It's like one of those storage wars thing. They open it up, they show you what's inside, and then you bid on it, and you're like, fuck, we just got all these trains, now we just gotta scrap them, you know, like there's nothing in value in here, so we got to use all the scrap metal to get so now we're just a bunch of freaking meth heads like taking copper pipes out of the train and shit.
We got to sell everything just to make a third back.
That's right. And it just follows the main dude, and he's got to pay back the bill collectors from all of the rental helicopters that he borrowed for the heist, and yeah, it's horrible.
Well, no, you get him cheap because of the Kobe thing.
Oh.
All right. You guys have any more feedback? Sweet.
Did you ever shoot your eye out?
No, I didn't. I almost stabbed it out though. Like when I was a kid, I fell with a
party hat.
With a party hat?
with a party hat.
That was a pencil. I jokered myself. Okay, this next part is where if you have any actual premises or bits you want to work on, this is where you do that. So, Jeremy, you're up first again. Let me know when you're ready to begin, and I will start your time.
All right. So you guys ever go out with your friends? Like Balal, maybe you've done this. You go out with your buddies and you go spend like the day at the bookstore, just hanging out and reading books and things. And then you go home and you find that your girlfriend has been drinking whiskey. And when she drinks whiskey, she gets really horny. And then like you go to like try to have sex with her because she's horny. And of course you're horny after leaving the bookstore as well. But then like you go and it just like crinkles up, like it doesn't go in. That is what is called whiskey vagina. It's when the vagina is hard as a rock and it's impenetrable. I guess I got to be on camera when I do that. Yeah, that's whiskey vagina. I love the smell of vaginas. This is a funny joke that maybe not all of us in the room are going to understand if you haven't smelled vagina. But like I like the different smells of vagina, like freshly cleaned out the shower vagina. That's really nice. Everybody loves that one. Or like another one of my favorites is like she just played an hour of table tennis smelling vagina. That's a pretty good one. But my all-time favorite smelling vagina is I just worked 2 hours of overtime and I come home to find my boyfriend who's a comedian who doesn't have a job smelling vagina. That's the one that I like the most. I don't have a job, guys. I don't know. So fun, handy fact, the human hand has 27 bones, but typically they've been finding a 28th bone in the hand, in the human hand. We've been evolving. It's that 28th bone is called a penis. We've all touched one. Maybe you've touched two. Yeah, I don't have any new jokes that I'm supposed to be working on. That's not good. Oh, you guys, like I left my house this morning. I was in a rush. I had to get to work. And I took a shower. I put my clothes on. I got breakfast. I walked out my house and I noticed there was dog poop in front of my front gate. And that reminded me I needed to get my car keys. So I went back in my house. I got sidetracked. I had to answer a phone call. I came back outside. I stepped in that poop. But what's weird is we don't have a dog. And like my housemate, she asked me, "Did you poop on the floor?" And I don't think that I did, but maybe it's possible. You guys know about VCR tapes, big VCR tapes. I recently sold all of my VCR tapes, and I had my VCR, but it was broken, so like I couldn't really sell the VCR, so I just kind of put it in my trash can. And my trash guy comes in, he's like, "Hey man, what are you gonna do with this?" I was like, "It's trash. You could throw it away." He's like, "Can I have it?" I was like, "I guess so. It's broken, and you get it fixed." So then like he takes the VCR and I go by the VCR repair shop and the guy's like, "Hey, we seen you on video recently." I'm like, "What the hell is he talking about?" And so the trash man comes back to my house and he brings the VCR tape that was stuck inside the VCR. And he says, "Hey, I think you might want this back." And I'm like, "Well, I don't have a VCR to watch it, so like, what happened with the VCR I gave you? Did you get it fixed?" He's like, "Yeah, I got it fixed. It cost me $5. And I was like, "Okay, you think I could borrow my old VCR so that I could watch this tape that you just gave to me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna charge you $5. So he said, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And so I paid this $5 and I watched the old videotape that he gave to me. And it turns out that it was a porno that I had made of me and myself. And I was there as well. And it was weird because now the VCR salesman has seen my porno tape. And I just paid $5 to watch a porno of myself. I was turned on 5 times, so it was worth it. All right, that's all I got. Thanks.
Any feedback?
That the joke about the vagina, the second one,
The
I do,
smells.
yeah, I would do like a 2-mile hike vagina or like a 3-hour spin class
Okay.
vagina.
I said table tennis because a lot of people here in Vietnam play table tennis.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
That
I
makes
try to
sense.
find some kind of relatable sport, and table tennis is kind of not really a sport,
We
but
call
it
it ping
is.
pong up in here.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I try to figure out something to put in the middle. That kind of is like a throw off type of weird thing. But yeah, that's why I said table tennis.
And then you were talking about you were in the video with me, myself, and I was there as well. Like, give all three of you something to be doing. Like, me was bent over the couch. I was giving it to me real good. Myself was, a pizza delivery guy. Like,
I was just watching for a little while. At one point, I didn't know what to do.
so I handed it off to myself.
Sitting in the corner, just yeah. Go ahead, self. You take care of this one. I am gonna sit over here. Yeah, that's good.
The ultimate selfie.
That's I like that tag.
VCR repairman.
Yeah, no, I wasn't prepared. I was gonna do. I did a set on Sunday or Saturday night. I didn't want to do that because I've already done it in front of an audience and I know it's good, and I don't want you guys to tell me that it's bad because they already did. But I'm still gonna do it anyways. Do you guys know the longest human ejaculation is 18.5 feet?
That's just of those who participated. You can't really know that for sure.
I don't know.
The longest human ejaculate of all.
I've never made it past my neck.
Was talk about hands across America.
What do you mean you never made it past your neck?
That's the longest distance that I've ever. That's not the point.
I mean, I meant from which way, but never mind.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm trying to think about jokes about like the life of a VCR repairman in modern times.
I don't think that we have a society that knows how to fix things anymore. So VCRs are definitely out. Like DVD players are so cheap you could, break it and then just spend $30 and, buy a new one. I mean, it would be a cheap one, but I mean, it's probably going to cost you more than that to fix the DVD player. I mean, the same with phones and things like that. So, got a broken relationship?
Trade it in for a new one.
Yeah, because the only thing people really normally get fixed are like cars or record players or VCRs. I guess I don't know.
But think about if we are trading in our ex-girlfriends for other dudes' ex-girlfriends, and the other dude's ex-girlfriends was a bitch to him at some point, so he wanted to trade her in. So we're just have a trade pool of bitches. Like, I'm gonna take my old bitch and put her with my dog, and that'll
Two old bitches.
Two old bitches. You get two bitches for the price of one.
Yeah,
but only
the
one
whiskey
will lick
vagina
your face.
joke, ooh, yeah, the whiskey vagina joke, like where you said you said it's the opposite of whiskey dick because whiskey dick will.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, so you
only
said
whiskey
it was hard.
dick will fit in whiskey vagina.
Okay. That's right. So so if I'm whiskey drunk and she's not, yeah.
The only perfect fit for whiskey vagina is whiskey dick because it ends with the K. That's the hard consonant, whiskey dick. Like
Okay, yeah.
dick. So the only fit for whiskey vagina is whiskey dick.
I got it. I like that.
I was thinking like, because he said it's like hard, so your dick won't work. Like, what if you're like, oh wait, this isn't whiskey vagina, it's rigor mortis.
Ha! I'd be writing that one down.
Yes, I am writing that down. That joke just even got darker.
Actually, you could be like, you could make that like a rule of threes and say, okay, like end it with rigor mortis. Like that's not whiskey vagina, that's vodka taint. You know?
Okay.
Like, that's not whiskey vagina, that's bourbon butthole or something. And then like, oh wait, that's not whiskey, that's just rigor mortis. Like do like a thing of three.
Yeah. To kind of throw them off from the whole rigor mortis. Yeah. Yeah, I like that as well.
Use the alcohol with different parts of the anatomy, and then end it with rigor mortis.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
That's it. Okay, Bobby, you're up next again. Let me know when you're ready to begin, and I will start your time.
All right, ready to begin. So I've been trying to find a house to live in. We're trying to find new trailer accommodations, and it's not a fun process at all. It is not like the movies where or the TV shows. We've lined up 3 perfect houses, and one of those 3 is your dream home. No, only one of those 3 you won't be crying after the experience. I have come to realize that I think I have done something very wrong, and I've actually died and gone to hell, and I am being drugged down to the portals of hell through various open houses. And no, I can't take it. It's just crazy, the stuff they're demanding of you. They're like, ooh, it's a seller's market. Yeah, but not everybody should be selling. It's crazy. And I hate my real estate agent. She's driving me crazy. Write a letter. Why do I have to write a letter to people telling them what the hell I'm going to do with your house once I buy it? It's none of your damn business. You sold that house. Any further say you have about that house is frozen. You just let it go. It's a Disney joke. You'll get it in a second.
Let it go.
I'm so fed up. People, look, if I want to play Enema Roulette in that new swimming pool, I paid for that right with interest, okay? If my husband wants to split me in half like a 2x4 in every room of that house, that's nobody's business but ours. But if you want me to write you a letter telling me every position we're going to try in the Kama Sutra, I'll have at it. She said, please, we need a letter. And I was like, well, honey, it's okay. I'm a comedian, so words is my game. And of course, being a comedian, I totally lied all over that letter, I invented like 6 grandkids, that we're having to raise because we lost both their parents in a tragic Facebook cinnamon challenge gone wrong. Cinnamon everywhere. It was tragic. The children were watching. It was horrible. Bobby was filming it. As Bobby's traumatized, we needed that pool for his aqua therapy. You think they care? No. I told them how I was going to bake cookies by the Christmas tree in the picture window. And then, of course, being the cook I am, not take the cookies out and set fire to that picturesque kitchen. But it's my kitchen to set fire to. In the end, we didn't win the bid, and at first I didn't care, but then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, that's some salty ass treatment there. They kicked my fake ass family right into the fake ass street. Where are my fake ass grandkids supposed to be now? Where are they going to live? You know, I mean, one of those kids is lame in my imagination. We can't even take care of him now. There is no fake love out there. But I have learned for anybody ever buying a house, there's a lingo out there, okay? It's a realtor's lingo. And it's not normal lingo, okay? It's about flowery words to cover up heinous shit. You know, like the house has character and personality. Yeah, what the realtor means is this house is haunted as hell.
This is.
If the realtor says this house has an organic composting garden right in the back, yeah, the realtor means this house has a bunch of dead bodies buried right in the back. And they're adding a lot of character and personality to the house. If he says this house has got a colorful history, yeah, she means this was an eyes wide shut sex house. It'll glow like the daylight under the right black light. Wear protective clothing. Yeah, and if the realtor says this is a quaint fixer-upper, that means it's a one-bathroom piece of shit. You'd be better off living in a truck on the side of the highway. It'd be cheaper to bulldoze this thing to the ground and live in the hole you bulldozed in the ground. Long story short, I'm homeless. I'm Bobby Sutton, and if you know of any, hole in an exotic area I could stay in, let me know. God bless and angels on your asses. Thank the Lord for your home tonight.
Well, I mean, here in Vietnam, there's a lot of holes where Americans dropped bombs, and maybe you can move into one of those.
See, that's the exotic location.
Yeah.
At least that's what the travel
There's no
agent said.
There's no COVID here. I mean, it's
There never
very.
really was.
I think in total they only had 850 people who got COVID, and only I think maybe 50 people died.
Oh wow!
Are the countries that did not mask?
No, we have masks. They wear masks here all the time. Like they wore masks here before that happened.
That might be why.
Like I think many people do it for the pollution and stuff. No, they like many people in Vietnam don't like Chinese people. So once they said there's something going down in China, they're like, well, fucking lock the border down to China then, and nobody can come in from China. And then they started locking. We locked the border down like in March last year. So it's been over a year now that it was here.
So y'all haven't even reopened.
No, I did a show. We've been back open for a couple of times. Like they
the border.
Only special interest people can come in, and they have a quarantine, and you got to pay like $6,000. But you got to be like an expert, which means you have to have gone to school for 4 years for whatever type of job you're going to be doing here. You have to be like experienced in that job. And you have to already have a job lined up. That's how you get like a work permit and get allowed to come by somebody making a request to the government. I want this employee here.
Oh, so you're a special request kind of guy.
No, I don't really have a job. I'm staying here because I just renewed my visa. I mean, I have jobs, but
they're so much better than
I don't really know if I'm legally allowed to be here. I'm sure they would know if I don't know what's going on. We'll figure it out for sure. was thinking in Louisiana, like when you're going through all the different places, you said one of them with the bodies in the background. Like we just had like a cesspool, so wasn't like a septic tank buried under the ground, you know, to collect everything. It was just like in the back of our property, there was just this little pond area with a fence around it, and all the shit and stuff went back there. So like that could be something you're like, oh, this one has a nice composting area, but we found out that it's just like a pile of shit.
It's just the sewage drainage.
Yeah, exactly. We've been using it for our vegetables are huge, but
They mean the septic tank hasn't been emptied in 43 years.
yeah, there you go. No, I thought it was good. You did good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, the realtor asked me, she's doing some show, and I mean, they do a thing every year where they invite all the realtors. They have some big realtors ball or something. And she asked if I would do comedy. And I was like, you're not going to like the comedy I'm going to do on realtors. And she was like, no, I was like, it's not kind. And she was like, even better. And it's like,
oh, I think that would go over well with them. I think that would be because they're like, because it's only the realtors there, you know, it's not the customers. So, I mean, you're not giving away secrets that they don't already know.
okay.
You know, I'm sure that there's probably a few of them that'll be at the show or the meeting or whatever that have tried to pawn off a haunted house or a house that somebody died in or some shit like that, you know. So, yeah, I think that would be good for a group of realtors, you know, because
Okay. Good.
maybe not all of
I'm
it's
supposed
true,
to
but
do
some
this
of it
for
is.
money in a couple of weeks.
No, I think that would be good.
Yeah, like I was trying to think of like more ridiculous situations, and then how you would spin them. Like the last entire family was abducted by aliens or something, or
What about
they locked their
skeletons in the
kids
closet?
This
basement
house-
for 10 years or
This
something.
house lets in a lot of light. I mean, that bright light was the last thing the family saw before the aliens abducted them.
Yeah, this room now has a sunroof. This is where the hurricane ripped off the house.
This house has central heat.
Beautiful skylight.
There's a big hole in the back of the house.
Yeah, that's fun.
Just imagine the sex house. Like, hey, Mom, I got this new blacklight poster. Can you help me hang it up in my room? And then, bing! What the fuck?
Here, let me just show you. I kept it because even though I would never buy this house, it was just. All right, let me see where. Now she kept telling me, "Don't go in there. Don't open that." And I was like, "No, if I'm going to buy the house, I want to know."
Missy, you're not going to believe this. Look what Robin found. Come into this closet, open this door. Yes, there's a door right here with a lock, but we won't say that.
It's a lock.
And then you look down here, and she's got pictures after this because there's stairs that go down into this room.
Here's the problem: you can't see this down there, and I'll send you a shot. It goes into an entire
goodness.
concreted room underground.
Okay, that's enough.
What the
That's
heck?
that's like a serial killer shit right there.
That's
Wow.
Yeah. What the fuck?
That is totally like a dungeon where he had like some girl living down there for fucking years or some shit like that.
And
That's where
that
you
is
keep
a
your
foot
enemies,
and a
dude.
half of freestanding water in that house, which is pulling the foundation from the center of the house to the right. So the house is cracking in half.
Mm.
But yeah, that room. And here's what's weird is like
That's a place that you went to go to. That
that's
she
one
was
of the-
showing you.
This is one of the open houses. That's what I meant by I'm being drugged through a portal of hell through an open house.
That's
I was like,
pretty
this is
wild.
a portal of hell. We had been outside. It was like long sleeve button down weather, like sleeves down, a windbreaker. You know what I mean? Like not even really cold, just like lightly cool if the wind blew. So it was
Yeah.
like that outside. The inside had heat. When I got down in that room and stood up, that room is underground, and this big whoosh of freezing cold air just went right through me. And
Yeah.
all I could feel was, and honestly, my first, and I asked it out loud because Alabama actually has houses dotted throughout on the Harriet Tubman Trail.
Okay,
And
yeah.
when I first went down there, and it was so underground, I was trying to look around the edge, and I was like, was this a Harriet Tubman house? And and then I was like, well, wait a second. I was like, no, it couldn't have been because this house was built in the 90s. I was like, no, this is just a lovely bones room. This doesn't
Yeah,
have
that's
any
crazy.
good historical value to it. It was just it. I just had that feeling. Have you ever like been in a place and you're just like, this is not a good place?
I've seen the pictures. That's crazy.
I mean, we've seen everything on the market like that. Just the craziest stuff. And to me, that was the scariest crazy of everything. And then my husband put in a bid on it, which was even scarier, crazy to me. But when we brought the inspector in, the inspector found the foundation cracking. I gave him such a big hug. I said, you're my hero. Hercules. And so I was like, foundation's cracked. We get to pull the contract. Bye-bye. You lovely freak ass house.
No, that's like I think that would be cool to have a room like that because I'm just weird, like in my own space, like that nobody knows about.
Like that's cool. I want my own dungeon.
But like to think about what somebody really used that for, that's fucking crazy.
I hope it was drug trafficking.
I'm thinking it was slaves.
That's all right.
Sex slaves.
I thought maybe it was sex slaves because that door lets out into the closet of the master bedroom. And it has a lock that big on it, like a big, like, boom. And the lock is on the bedroom side of the door. So it lets up right into the closet. When I first saw it and it had that big lock on it and everything, I thought it was access to an in-ground fire safe, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, guns or something, yeah.
Yeah, when I lifted the door, I was like, no, that's stairs. And then I looked down, it was pitch black. But when I shone the flashlight, that room just kind of, but it only did like a flashlight spotlight, which made it even more creepy. So, and I was like, I got to go down there. And they're like, no, you don't need to go down there. I was like, if I'm going to buy this house, I need to know exactly what's down there. Is there more than one room down there? And there wasn't. It was just that room concreted in and then a bunch of crawl space all around with a lot of plastic seating.
And you said in Alabama, there's not really like typically basements in the South, right?
Well, in the older houses, yeah. But this room, and I'll tell you, that's why it had the freestanding water in it because it was running along the Cahaba River, and what the inspector said was what it looked like was they dug that room out of the house. They
built the house first and then put the
built the house, made the room.
That's even scarier. That's crazy.
Concreted it in, and did all of that, and in doing so, they dug under the water level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then the water's fucking taking away the dirt.
Stuff, it fills up. And so that would be an ongoing problem. Now, they said all you need is a sump pump for that. But, I don't want to put $250 into a house that I've got a sump pump on a regular basis.
Yeah,
you're still going to get
plus, that's a weird room.
No. And, okay, here's the really weird thing.
Oh, it gets worse.
The house was so charming until I got to that room. But when we first got out there, it's like I wanted like a little area to put an above ground pool because I'm trailer treasure. My pools need to be above ground. So
trailer treasure.
And she found this adorable deck that led out onto this screened gazebo that had a hammock in it that would have just let down to my little above ground pool. And I'm out there taking pictures from the gazebo. It had it had another 3 acres of woods back there. And it looked like it was a fairyland. Like they had little archways and lights and they had paths. they had like 6-7 paths cut into those woods and from just that area, that house. And I was like, oh, look, it's got little walking trails. It's got little walking trails. So cute. And I was standing there and I hear, Robin, look out. And I went, what? And I just heard, look out, Robin. And I started like looking out in the woods and they said, no, look up, Robin. And I just turned and I yelled for my husband. I yelled for the real estate agent. Nobody answered me. And I just kind of backed into the house because we were on essentially 11 acres of land all alone. So I walked back in the house and I'm like, were y'all messing with me? Did one of y'all call me? And they were like, no, we were discussing the this and the that. And they were like way out in the front yard by the mailbox discussing something. So I told them about that. And then it was about 15 minutes later that I found that room. And that's when I was like, I'm not living here. I'm not living in this death house. And then that really freaked me out about the trails in the woods. And I was like,
That's
are these
crazy.
walking trails? Or are these like Ed Gein, John Wayne Gacy trails?
With a
Maybe
bunch
it
of
was one of
bodies.
Yes, like what kind of trails?
Wow.
Maybe it's where they
So,
kept their collection of illegal cheese.
Yeah,
It's weird to think
that's
that
so
like
much worse, Bilal. I thought it was
I know that if it comes to your mind, then this same thing has probably came to the mind of the real estate person. Like it's weird that they would be like, instead of calling in the police to do like an investigation of the property, that they would just rather sell it and not ask questions because that's going to lose money if you bring the police in and we can't sell it. So just sell it and then let the people who buy it fucking deal with it.
Yeah, they're like looking at the stains in the concrete, like, oh man, they really love tomato soup.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it was a wine cellar. I don't know.
Oh yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, that does sound like a death house, like or a sex house, like.
I think it was a sex house because there was a farm across the street, but that farm was easily 2 acres away, 3 acres away. I actually said, this is like one of those pieces of property where no one would hear you scream. Like it had 5 acres of its own property. 3 of those acres were surrounding it with like woods, a nice thick patch of woods, a good 3 acres of wood, and then a little under 3 acres. You had about 2.5 acres of cutout land for the house, and then that house was surrounded with almost 3 more acres of woods. Then the property next to it was still another maybe 2 acres away from that, and the property across the street was still, I would say, a total of maybe 4 or 5 acres away from the house. So like anybody who was running a brothel of some sort out of this place, like illegal or whatever, no one would have known. There was plenty of room. Like there was a whole way to go around. The house had 3 different garages to it. You could drive around to the back and park in a large leveled backyard. So like you could have brought a ton of cars up there and nobody would have ever seen them from the front of the house. People could have come and gone. Nobody would have questioned it because the road was so off by itself, and not a signal in the world if somebody were to maybe hopefully snatch a cell phone to get to safety.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
and those bars that ran along the wall, I don't know if y'all saw the bars that was coming out of the concrete. There was like a bar that runs around all 3 of the walls that's hooked into the concrete. And people who I've showed that video to, they're like, yeah, that's for the handcuffs.
Mm.
You know,
No,
like I haven't seen anybody who has seen that house and said, you know, storm shelter. Nobody's looked at that house and said anything but, ooh.
Illegal Jesus.
Drug house. Death house.
Yeah, nothing good house.
I hope it was the
sounds.
mob. I don't know. Maybe that's where they took their rats or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's what it was. The rats. That's where he took the rats. The rats who turned state's evidence.
Yeah, those human trafficking. That's horrifying. My goodness.
Actually, the statistics say that for every 100 houses, there's in every single neighborhood, every walk of life, no matter how rich, no matter how poor, like for every mile, I think there's one trafficking house.
There can't be that many.
Oh, my son wanted to. We had a rule in the house where you couldn't ride with anybody under the age of 18 because of out where we live. It's a lot of twisty, turny, and cliffs. So he wanted to ride with friends who were under the age of 18. Told me he was going to a movie, snuck out of that movie with his friends, did not return to the movie in time to get picked up. They put out a code atom on him. They put out an Amber Alert on him because apparently the movie theater is the easiest place to abduct children for this industry. And the sheriff told me that night that he said, of all those kids you see on all the walls in Walmart, he said 1% of them are actual abductions. He said about 3% of them are marriage tiffs, marriage things, custody cases, per se. The rest are all being trafficked.
No, yeah, I've seen that it said something like 110,000 children are abducted every year, and it said most of them are not even found. And you don't see that. You don't I mean, that sounds like a whole lot of fucking kids. Like, how the fuck are that many kids going missing every year? And there's still fucking people with kids. Like,
he explained that, like, from Alabama, he said the reason they picked that movie theater that they were at in that particular area is because it's only 100 yards from the interstate. So they put you in the car, somebody pops you with heroin or Klonopin or something, they're just going to knock you out real quick. He said they're going to start driving. He said, now they're not going to stop driving until they get to at least Louisiana. And they'll probably start him on, I mean, they're talking to me like he's already gone. And because of the children who are being abducted, 68% are boys. And said that he'll get down to Louisiana. He said they'll start trafficking him in Louisiana, maybe for a couple of nights. But then they're going to pick him up and run him over to Tennessee. From Tennessee, he will move down to Florida. Then he'll move up through Virginia, go through D.C., go through New York. He'll come back through Kentucky, then Tennessee, through Alabama, back to Louisiana, to Texas, to Florida, and it's just a revolving circle. And they're constantly, and then that's if they're pretty enough, they go overseas. Like, this is a worldwide, and this was a sheriff telling me that, like, he was trying to, like, quickly educate me, and he was saying things like, what you need to do is tomorrow you need to start going on, like, Craigslist, and you need to start going on these porn sites where they sell children, and you need to start looking for your son and looking for identifying marks of his body. Is there anything that can identify that you would be able to? Because
wait, hold the fuck up. Hold on
I mean, this is just all being hammered in on me.
I'm just picturing somebody sifting through, like, all these kids for sale. Like, oh, that's not my son. I don't care about them. And he's like scrolling through, like, hundreds of kids.
That's fucked up.
Swipe left. But yeah, he was scaring the hell out of me. I mean, but he was giving me statistics, and it's crazy. But yeah, go out there. You got an average of usually like 10, 12 pictures on the wall of any Walmart. Like, by those statistics, 4 of those kids are abduction to parent custody issues. The rest are being trafficked. So next time you look at a Walmart wall, 1-800 The Lost. But 1-800 The Lost, like, has gotten back a record number of children, like a record phenomenal amount. They were never finding children on the scale that they're finding them through that program. So, like, if you ever wonder, hey, I'm raising money for, who should I raise money for? 1-800 The Lost, because that's just helping the children most in need.
And I learned a little bit about this topic of like child abduction as we got off on this topic because like somebody posted on Facebook, who is John Gott? I think that's his name. And I was like, who the fuck is that? So I typed it in, and that was the first kid who was ever put on the back of a milk carton was John Gott.
Hey,
And it was like, it's supposed to be a whole conspiracy that he's been cycled through the government and he has fucking known, and he's tried to contact his family and things like that.
well,
There's a whole
but
documentary on it.
Jeremy, who is John Galt is a reference to Atlas Shrugged.
okay, I don't know who that is.
That's a book by Ayn Rand. It was about like a society, like in the future where all the major like titans of industry are disappearing, and the only thing left behind it says who is John Galt. And I don't want to spoil anything in case you want to read the book or whatever, but it's a character in the book.
Okay, so maybe I just pronounced his name wrong
Well,
or
what
something.
year was the book written?
This is by
Yeah.
Ayn Rand, so I think it was like the was the 50s maybe. I don't know. Let me look. I heard the problem with those, but I didn't read Atlas Shrugged.
It would only add more conspiracy to that child's name.
I don't know. So like maybe it was a different name, but whenever I typed that in, the milk carton kid.
1957.
57. Yeah, that's right around the time like 1984 was written too. There's
Oh, John. It says Johnny Gosh. Gosch.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Johnny Gosh. He was the first kid on a milk carton. Yeah.
So
I
yeah, one of
remember
the first
that.
children.
Like I remember when that happened. Like the first time his picture came up on a carton, and they didn't only just put him on the big ones; they put him on all the kids' cartons
At school and stuff.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I remember that. And that's when they decided that we're gonna start like compiling a list of these pictures of these children, and we're gonna start putting them on the milk cartons.
Yeah, but I watched a couple of different videos about that kid, and it said that like he tried to contact his family as he got older, and it was just he was still kind of in this like trafficking situation that he couldn't get out of, but somehow he was able to send them a letter or send them a phone call, or some weird shit happened. He like popped up on the doorstep one day and just like knocked on the door and said something and then disappeared or whatever. So yeah, that and it said how that's a lot of fucking kids. I mean, I don't know how many kids are born into America every year, but for 110,000 kids to go missing every year, that's a lot of kids.
Yeah. This is so scary, but it's making me
now
think of
you
like
see why I abducted my child.
yeah.
Abduct rather than have your own. It's just good for society. We shouldn't bring more children into the world.
Look, when what's his name? Oh my God, I was just thinking of him because he does a lot of work with helping children in that situation.
Chris Hansen?
Oh my God, that 70s show.
Never mind.
With the hair.
No, the guy who used that, John Walsh, he did a lot of that because that's why he started that show, was because his daughter was abducted.
No, his son.
Okay, yeah,
son. Abducted from a Sears playing with the Atari.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a guy up here who's a comedian. He runs shows. His name is Adam Walsh, and he's like every time someone Googles his name, the first thing that comes up is Adam Walsh kidnapped.
Ashton, John Ashton, is that his name? Married to Demi Moore. Ashton.
I don't know anything about celebrities.
Ashton Kutcher, yeah, he does a lot. I've seen that as well.
That's nice. Well, yeah, I guess we should probably get back to the form of the show.
we did get off track. It's okay.
No, I mean, I don't really want to tell jokes after this. This was cool. Like, I really I want to do a podcast with y'all sometime. Like that. This was fun. Just talking about random stuff. I like it. But yeah, we've
That's
been
what we'll
up
call
here
the
like an hour and
podcast,
a half.
talking about
It didn't even
random
seem
stuff.
like it flew by to me.
I didn't see we got some Facebook comments. That's pretty cool.
Oh, did we? Sorry, my
Yeah.
iPad died like in the
I
middle
think
of this. So.
one of them says, "Hey guys, what are we talking about? Sex house or death houses?" So that was for you,
We're
Robin.
not sure.
Yeah, we don't know.
I
Either
can't
way,
figure out what this
perfect
thing
stuff
is.
to make me have a terrible nightmare about tomato soup or spilled white paint in a basement.
That's weird. How are you doing three totally different things?
And one of them, this one's good. It says, out where we live, we have a policy: no trafficking after 11.
Well, it's nice and considerate to the next.
And then even more, says, whoa, I don't know what I walked into. I don't know if she's referring to the room or the person's referring to the room or to this conversation.
Yeah, we went down a rabbit hole for sure.
That's crazy.
Stupid house. Yes.
Yeah, this was a fun one though. Like,
I am ready to find a house for sure. I'm ready to be done with the house hunting.
And even probably, the inspector, he come and he seen that and everything. And he recommended you put a sump pump in there as opposed to filling it with concrete or something like that, But I guess concrete would cause it to sink more, so.
He actually recommended that I turn 180 degrees and run in the opposite direction. Like, he literally said that.
That's what I would say. So.
You turn 180 degrees and start running.
Yeah. No, that sounds crazy. That's all right.
So
Paulo, you got some.
Did nobody
go
alert
ahead.
the authorities about the existence of this room just to be sure?
It is considered a feature of the house.
Okay, Ryan has classified that he is not sure what he walked into with this conversation. So glad we got that cleared up. Thank you, Ryan. Have a good night.
If you didn't get to see the video of the house, it's a hard one to understand, Ryan.
Like, you're going to have to just do this comedy set with a PowerPoint presentation and show that video so that, make sure that everybody understands this is what the fuck I saw.
I've been subjected to Bill Cosby's house.
She's like, yeah, this room is here. It's pretty nice. And it's also comes with a lifetime supply of Quaaludes. Great.
But the thing
so
is,
there
she
was
kept telling me to stay away from the room. Don't unlock that. Don't look in there. Don't go down those stairs. Don't do. It's just like, do you realize I'm emotionally like 5 years old? The more you say don't do that, don't put that in your mouth. That's just me. And
yeah, but it looks pretty well
down
hidden.
there.
It looks pretty well hidden with the carpet over it. You wouldn't be able to see that crack in the carpet.
I thought it was a stain in the carpet, so I leaned. Yeah, the way the carpet lies, it indents and makes like almost a shadow appearance. And I thought maybe they had some type of a dresser or a cabinet or something that had sat on it for years. So I leaned down to like see, well, how bad is this stain or this dent? Can I negotiate some off the money? And then as I stuck my fingers in it, the carpet lifted up. And when the carpet lifted up, there's that big, it looks like a tiny barn door. And then it had that big lock on it. I mean, the lock is like that big and it goes clunk. I mean, it makes a noise. And when I unlocked it and I lifted up and it goes, it makes the like, huh. And, I was just like, stairs. And that was when I saw the stairs going down under the house. That was when I said, ooh, do y'all think, do y'all think that this is a Harriet Tubman house? And then, like, as I started to lean down in the stairs to see, that's when I was like, no, this couldn't be on the trail because this house wasn't built that long ago. It's built in the 90s. So, no. You know, so then I start like really looking down. I said, somebody give me a flashlight. And that's when the room opened up. And I was like, no, I really need to see this. And she kept going like, don't go down there. Don't go down there. And I was like, no, there's something down here. There's something really hinky down here. And she's like, but you don't need to see it. It's like, wait, so I need to buy it, but I don't need to see it. What?
What you said there was like railing all around, like all
There's
around the
like
room?
like a, here. It's easier to show you than to try to explain it. There's like, I'm sorry. You see this pipe that runs right there?
Uh-huh. And then it runs across the back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble doing this backwards. Oh, it's sliding. Sorry. And it runs that way.
Yeah.
Oh, what the
That's
fuck?
weird.
I thought you meant like a bar. Like I was gonna say maybe they had a secret underground ballet school, but never
No,
mind.
no, a bar, an actual bar. And then sawhorses here, and then under this water is a piece of plank board that's kind of just a couple of inches wider than the sawhorses on each side.
So that was a makeshift bed or something.
Yeah, what was down there were these two sawhorses with a like there's one of them. The other one's down there in the water, and then like running this away is a piece of board that's like a couple of inches wider. But like it was about the size of a twin bed. A plank board.
What is that board against the wall? Is that like a window or what does that cover right now?
We can't know. That is a board with that's one of the boards I'm talking about. And it's got this huge leather. It looked like a belt. It's a big leather strap that's wrapped kind of around it. And it hooks, like apparently it could hook in 3 different places.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's right there.
Yeah, I see the black strap thing. Yeah, it looks weird. It looks like spray paint or something. But yeah, if that's what it is, that's fucking weird. Yeah, that's a sex dungeon. I'm positive if I've never seen one before.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Did
they talk to the previous
all
owner?
The creeps, like every kind of creep you could feel, they gave it to me.
There can't have been that many owners if it was built in the 90s. Like, did they talk to whoever owned it before? Like, hey,
he probably just disappeared.
Yeah, we really couldn't get straight answers out of them like the owners who were trying to sell it were being real super evasive. Everything's great, everything's fine. No, that was fixed. It's like, well, where's the proof that the foundation was fixed? They told us. The other people told us. Well, our inspector told us that there should be like a contract where it would give you a so many year guarantee that the house would be fine. And it's like, if they don't have that contract, they didn't have the work done. Because that contract has to legally transfer over. If you've had major foundation work done, it's all guaranteed. And he said that goes over with the sale of the house. He says, so if these people bought it, they should have the contract. And they're like, well, they never gave us a contract. It's like, well, then y'all got lied to. So yeah, no one can find the other owners. The owners before them, they really don't have any questions to answer on the house. It's not our house. It's not our responsibility anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's not our crime scene anymore. That's your problem.
Yeah, we sold it.
That there were 5 raised gardens in the backyard growing nothing but weeds.
In bodies.
5 raised gardens. Yeah, raised like between 1 and 3 feet each. They kind of stack amongst each other, and they're all filled with dirt. And it's like long overgrown grass and weeds that's dead. You know what I mean? Like nothing's really growing in these boxes.
I read this meme on Facebook the other day. It said, if you kill somebody, plant them in the garden and then plant endangered plants over top of them, because nobody could dig up the endangered plants because they're endangered. So then nobody will find the bodies that are underneath.
They said the same thing about Lake Superior.
Yeah, so they sink their bodies.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to bring this one home because like time has flown by. It doesn't feel like it's been an hour and 3/4 already at all to me. Like, this has been a great conversation. Like, if you guys want to start a podcast or anything, I'd totally be down. But, like, for the sake of anybody watching this.
Oh, well, we had one viewer at least, so it's okay.
Yeah, this was fun. So, you guys have any closing remarks?
I don't think so. You don't want to do your
This was
jokes?
fun. I enjoyed it. Thank y'all for inviting. Thank y'all for coercing me into coming tonight.
Oh,
It's always a pleasure, Bobby.
very fun, very fun.
Okay, well, this concludes another thrilling episode of The Workshop. Bye.
Yay.
Sign off.